Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. How is everybody doing? And welcome to these to the Roma news, Roma updates. Today's big. Today's a very big live stream because sources today have reported how the Friedkins are moving towards a general summer clear out of players, with around 8 players potentially leaving Roma at the end of the season. I also want to mention on this other very weird thing, which is that the Friedkins are willing to pay a fine and kind of break the FFP rules and then kind of, turn around and be more proactive in investments in the transfer window. And I want to spend some time thinking and talking about that, because that makes no sense. I mean, the rules keep on changing, so I'm going to focalize on that as well. And then Dybala, because big sources like Il Corriere dello Sport today have released articles saying that Dybala, with no Champions League, can consider to leave Roma this summer, and the possibility of Dybala leaving this summer without playing the Champions League are very, very high. A lot to go through today, so if you're ready, please do hit the like. If we can get 100 likes on this video, it would be absolutely amazing. Do it, hit the like if you're watching live or not, and subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer to 12,100. It would be great if you can hit that, so get yourselves to subscribe and get your families and friends to subscribe as well. Hi everybody. Hello to Giovanni, Himadri, Lucas, Ryan, Henricas, Chris, Nitsan, hello to you all. I am going to read comments. You know, the problem is with these topics and these live streams which get carried away in debates and chats, I always tend to forget to read comments. I'm going to try my best. Nitsan says he heard Kefran Turam rumors. I did hear those rumors too, and I think that would be a great player that we could sign. Will you stream every day in the summer? In the summer, I'm more gonna do videos, pre-recorded videos, than live stream, just because I move around. I'm not fixed in Rome, so sometimes the connection in other countries or in other places is bad. But yeah, there should be one video every day. It either is going to be a live stream if I'm in Rome, or a pre-recorded video, just like summer. No need to worry. Don't you worry. I hope Dybala doesn't leave, says Henricas, and Himadri says Simo late. Right. I want to start with this clear out thing, because this morning, there was a report coming from Il Messaggero saying how the Friedkins are planning for a clear out, and that this clear out could be a very big revolution this summer, where around 8 to 9 players could see a departure from Roma, and they could pack their bags and leave. And I'm going to read a little article which describes this and the problems and the solutions that this clear out could bring. Roma's problem is the amount of wages, not so much because they're high, but rather because the millions that are given out annually do not correspond to benefits on par with the salaries, writes Gianluca Lengua on Il Messaggero. What this effectively means is that not only the salaries are high, which is a problem, but these high salaries don't respect what the players give to you. And this is an example. Korsdorp earns around 2.2 million annually, which is a contract extended and adjusted by Thiago Pinto until 2025. But his performances are well below expectations. So we have a problem where not only our salaries are big, but we're overpaying players who don't perform. And that's the big problem. That's the problem which has caused us FFP in the past, and that could cause restrictions in the future. Additionally, salary is one of the main reasons why it was difficult to place him and to find him another team. The summer that is coming, however, will take away a series of elements due to the end of loans or expired contracts, which will significantly lower the amount of wages, leaving open boxes to be filled with players who are more functional to the project and less expensive, young, capable, healthy, and prospective. Ready to say goodbye are Korsdorp, Rui Patricio, Huijsen, Llorente, Christensen, Spinazzola, Renato Sanchez, Azmoun, Lukaku, and possibly also Dybala. The total saving would be approximately 24 million net. Salaries that will then be spread out to cover the missing boxes. Therefore, a second goalkeeper, Zvilor, will remain, will extend his contract, and will see an increase in his salary. At least a couple of defenders, 2 wingers, a midfielder, and a couple of attackers. Furthermore, the difficulty will be to find alternatives, better than those that will go away, to be used continuously during the season. Now, this is so important. This is the key to this summer. Not only do we need starting players, but we need second lines who are going to be used continuously during the season. Renato Sanchez was an announced flop who contributed to the ruining of the season, forcing not only Mourinho, but also De Rossi to squeeze the starting 11 midfielders to death. That is the problem. The problem that has persisted in our investments is overpaying players who are not good enough and have never performed with the Roma kit. And a lot of these players that I have named and that could be leaving this summer, not only are they going to leave because, oh well, they're not good enough, they need to leave, but because Roma is going to follow a more sustainable project where the salaries of players is not going to be an explosion. The salaries of players is not going to be exaggerated, because ultimately the project that we want to follow is a sustainable project built in giving, growing young players, which therefore will start with a minimal salary, and then that salary will increase if their performances increase. So that is ultimately the goal. Is it going to be hard? Yes, it is. Is it going to take time? Yes, it is. Will it be time consuming? Yes. Do we need to be patient? Yes. These are all the answers to this. And that's kind of what the salary problem is. Because remember, the FFP sanctions were all about balancing the salary caps. It wasn't the FFP sanctions that tormented us weren't necessarily sanctions which, you can't spend money. But you can spend money, but you need to balance things out. And it was very complicated for our sporting directors to balance things out, because the players that we wanted to sell had zero market. The players that we wanted to sell had a massive salary, and other teams that were interested in them were not willing to offer the same salary. So we ended up in a position where we could not have created this gap, and this gap where we could spend, because the players that we wanted to sell didn't have a market. Now, the players that we want to sell still don't have a market, which is the problem. Because a lot of these players that are going to leave, which aren't loans, I look at Karsdorp, Rui Patricio, Smalling, Spinazzola, these players over here, do they have a market? And if so, how much are you realistically going to get to sign them? Zaleski is another one. Yes, he's young, but are we really going to get more than 12, 13 million for him? Because I think if we do, it would be considered golden. There are a lot of... the way I see this is that we've complicated ourselves. We've decided to follow a project which was, okay, and that ultimately, look, that's the Mourinho project. Which is why now we're trying to change this. Because the Mourinho project was try to give him players that he wants, which we failed. I am going to say this. Look, I'm balanced. We failed to satisfy Mourinho's demands. So we were in a position where we had to follow this project of immediate success. But not only did we not invest in players that Mourinho wanted, but we weren't able to invest in players because of the FFP. Because of a lot of wasted crap that we had in our team, which we weren't able to sell. So this is why we've stabbed ourselves in the back, because we attempted a project which for a team like Roma is impossible. Immediate success is impossible, because immediate success is a project that teams which have got ultimate amount of money and infinite amount of money do. If you're Roma, you can't aim for immediate success because you don't have the money and tools to satisfy this immediate success project. So now that Mourinho's gone, and now that De Rossi isn't here with an immediate success project. He's here to build a future, which will take time, will take patience, but is here to stay. Then this is why right now we need to back him, because we've started this. Yes, we started this project, which was started by the hands of somebody else, but we're here and we move. And I've seen comments go. Well, look. Yesterday, when I did the live stream yesterday, I saw comments go, well, you're saying you need to give time to a manager and back a manager, but why didn't you do that with Mourinho? And look, that is a good question, but the answer is very simple. And if you don't know the answer, then you're getting fooled by what people are telling you. The cycle of Mourinho and Roma had ended. The players were playing against him. So how on earth could you possibly back a manager and give time to a manager which already did 2.5 seasons, and after these 2.5 seasons, players were exhausted, the cycle ended. It was only deemed to fail, which is why we changed. So people who go, oh well, you're a hypocrite because you say you want to give time to a manager, but then why didn't you give time to Mourinho? It's because the cycle ended. It's because players mutinied against him. And if you don't realize and accept that, then you're being played around by the media. It's not a surprise that when Pellegrini in the Milan press conference a few weeks ago, he tried to get asked Mourinho what happened with the Mourinho, and he tried to dodge that bullet. In that press conference, he got asked, well, why were you so absent? Why were you so silent? What were the tensions with Mourinho? Was that story of Mourinho leaving the ring in your locker room true? He got asked that. Is it a surprise that he dodged that bullet? No, because he can't say that, but it did happen. It did happen. Mourinho fell out with players. So if the situation collapses, if the cycle ends, then how on earth is it possible to back a manager and give him time if 80% of the team wants him out? You can't, which is why we had to change. So with that being said, I kind of want to also bring this new thing that I woke up reading this today and I was like, hang on a second, this makes no sense. Because it feels like UEFA keeps changing the rules every single season. So basically, there's this other report coming from Il Corriere dello Sport, which says that the Friedkins this summer, even without Champions League money, are willing to pay a fine and breach the rules in order to have less torment on the investments. Now, and you see the confusion of this is, and then you drive back, however, and then you ask yourself questions which go, well, why didn't they do this before? You see how everything is so chaotic, and this is a result of us only thinking about the present and not giving an absolute crap about the future. Successful teams build their present based on their future. We build our present not taking anything in consideration about our future. And that's the problem. Because now you've got all this chaos, confusion, and then from an extreme which went FFP again, it's going to be another shit transfer window. This morning we got told, well actually the Friedkins are willing to breach the FFP, pay a little fine, and have less stress on the investments, which completely counters the other points. And then here is where you back Mourinho and go, well then why didn't they do this with Mourinho as well? It's a result of a poor project, a project which doesn't focus about the future. And this article which says this is this, and let me explain this. This year, the summer transfer market, which will be led by Florent Ghisolfi, who is now close to the announcement of the Giallorossi club, will not be characterized by the club's need to make capital gains by the 30th of June. Last summer, Pinto had to sacrifice Ibanez, Tahirovic, Volpato to respect UEFA's requirements. This year, Ghisolfi will not have that sword of Damocles over his head. Revenues have increased thanks to the box office, sponsorships, and Europa League prizes, thus minimizing the need to make capital gains. It will therefore be a different and less limiting transfer market for Roma, with the Friedkins ready to pay a penalty if the club fails to respect the limits of the settlement agreement. This doesn't mean that Roma will go crazy sprees and expenses, but that they will still intend to invest in the market. Goodbye to players who are overpaid and don't perform on the pitch, and bring in younger, smarter and more durable players to suit De Rossi's footballing beliefs, who will work closely with a new director. And here is where you knock the tower down and go, why are we saying this now? Why is this happening now? Which again, maybe there were some rules which said that we couldn't have done this last year, 2 years ago. I'm not sure. But the second I read this is, right, this is great news, but why has it took us 3 years to do this? I'm not sure if the UEFA changed the rules. I'm really not too sure. This is my instinct reaction to this. Now, this is good news. Now, be careful. This means, yes, the UEFA will have less control over our freedom of the transfer window, yes. But this doesn't mean that we can expect Roma to invest millions and millions and millions. That's not what this article is saying. This article is saying that Roma is kind of let free from making that 30 million capital gain, which Pinto made last year, selling young players. They're kind of free of that, and they've got less limitations. This doesn't mean that Roma will now start spending billions and billions like Chelsea. No, that's wrong. And look, I don't think we need to spend billions and billions and billions. Because what Bologna are teaching us, you know, if there's this aspiration in us which goes, I really want to copy the Bologna project, the Bayer Leverkusen model, the Girona, the Atalanta projects. If I want to do that, then this theory and this theory that everybody has of, to kind of build a massive team, you need to spend billions and billions. But that's wrong. That is not right. Yes, you need to spend, but it's about what you spend on more than how you spend and how much you spend. It's about quality instead of quantity. Atalanta are showing this to us for the past 5 years. They've stuck their balls in their faces for the last 5 years. Have they spent exaggerated amounts of money? No, they haven't. They've just been smarter than us. Bologna, similar. Have they spent, they've spent 1 billion euros to build it? No. They've spent even less than us, if you ask me. It's about what you use that money for. It's not how much money you need, how much money you need to spend and all that shit. It's not about that. It's about what you spend your money on. Because for the past 3 years, Lewis Hamilton on the road here, for the past 3 years we've spent money on useless players. A lot of them were loans. A lot of them were players which don't even deserve to be here. So what I'm trying to say here is, and what I've kind of been saying here is this: I agree, football to succeed in football nowadays, you need money. I agree. But I think that this theory that people have of, if you don't spend money nowadays, you're doomed to fail. I think this is a Premier League theory. Because in the Premier League, this theory of, if you don't spend money, you won't succeed, I think it's way more valid than in the Serie A, because the circulation of money is massive. So, of course, if City spends blah, blah, blah more than Chelsea, they're going to win. Because the circulation of money in that league is way higher. Yes, for the Italian league in the Serie A, it is right. The more you spend, the better. But this theory of, if you want to succeed, you need to spend money, is less accurate in this league. Because every season you have surprises. Whether it's Bologna this season, whether it's Fiorentina last year, reaching finals, whether it's Atalanta for the past 3 years. This league shows you that the circulation of money isn't big. You don't need to be spending billions and billions and billions to reach the levels of Inter. Inter got Marcus Thuram on a free transfer, Jan Sommer on a free transfer, Acerbi from Lazio on a free transfer, and Çalhanoğlu from Milan on a free transfer. 4 of their biggest carriers this season were free transfers. Inter shows this to us. Atalanta has shown this to us. It's about what you spend the money on. Do you spend the money on shit, or do you spend the money on gold? That is the ultimate debate. You know, it's very, very simple. So yes, you need to spend, but it's about what you spend, not how much you spend. It's about quality over quantity. And then ultimately, the last thing which I want to touch on is Dybala, because a lot of people ask me this. A lot of people ask themselves what will happen with Dybala. A lot of people are scared that Dybala is gonna leave. I think, and I've said this since June. If you don't reach Champions League football again, then I think there are high chances that Dybala leaves. This doesn't mean that Dybala is not loyal. This means that Dybala sees himself in better levels and in better teams. This is not an attack towards him. If he wants to leave, he leaves. I am nobody to stop him. We are nobody to stop him. If he wants to leave, he leave. But if I'm Dybala, I take in consideration a very important thing before coming up with my ultimate decision. And this important thing is, who in Europe of the big teams that want him is willing to be as patient or as we Roma fans and Roma players are with him. Because yes, I'll acknowledge the fact that Dybala has carried us, but I also acknowledge that we have been very patient with Dybala. Because in big games, he rarely performs, and in many occasions, he misses them. So we have an incredible talent, but we've got a talent who is very inconsistent. Is he going to be loved the same? Is he going to be in the center of the attention the same way as he is here? So if I'm Dybala, I take in consideration these things, because your fitness is weak. You're a fragile player. And therefore you need to take these things in consideration. If he wants to leave, he leaves. If he wants to play the Champions League, we can't stop him. The quality that he shows to us is Champions League quality. Again, we can still reach the Champions League. We've still got a bit to decide, but of course, I don't know. I think he either stays and is one of the most loyal players out there, or saying no to Champions League again, or he's had enough of us and just he's had enough of carrying the team by himself. So that's the way I see it. I've got no problem. I mean, again, I'm here for the team. I'm not here for the players. The players represent my team, and yeah. But again, I'm not saying Dybala is gonna leave. It's definitely gonna be a heated debate, a heated topic in these next few weeks. Because if Dybala decides to leave, it definitely will be before the next season starts. It won't be a last-minute move. Also for respect of the fans and the manager, who needs to start preparing the tactics and the preseason for next season. So I'm not saying he's gonna leave, but the chances are high because, the objective was Champions League this year again, and we failed again. Up to now, maybe Atalanta's gonna save us. I woke up to see we're not going to sell Awar or Tammy, and we are not going to buy Azmoun. What a great way to start my day, says Ryan. I'm not mad that we're playing Europa League again. We can win it, but the bad thing is Dybala might leave. Well, look, mate, I agree with you. As much as I want Champions League nights because they are magical, and I want Champions League money, which can massively help us, I agree with you. I'm a fan. I'm a football fan. I want to celebrate wins. And I don't want to celebrate us having an opportunity to play at the Bernabeu against Madrid. That'd be great, but I'll get battered. I'll get absolutely slapped. So I'm here to see my team win. Whether I see my team play against Real Madrid, that comes secondary. Yeah, that's great, and I want to see that, and I want Champions League, but I'm here to try and reach the levels of lifting trophies and reaching finals. So, to a certain extent, I do agree with you. We cannot get excited about Roma transfer rumors without a sporting director. Sporting director is 99% going to be Ghisolfi. He's going to get announced in a few days. I think we need a midfielder like Thuram who's a bit more pacey than Cristante and Paredes. No disrespect to them. I think they are good, but they are too slow and cannot play together. Forza Roma sempre, even without trophies in Champions League, we are the most beautiful calcio club in the world. Head high Romanista, so many bust transfer loans from Pinto. Let's see what happens this summer, but it's unclear what the path forward looks like. Thanks for your streams, Timo. Thank you very much. Lukaku and Dybala are the only world-class players in this team, says Saint. I don't think... I love Lukaku, but Lukaku isn't world class. Lukaku is very good, and I've defended him from August, but Lukaku ain't world class. Lukaku's a player which can make the difference. A world class player makes the difference in every single game. Lukaku ain't world class. Lukaku's good, and I would love to keep him, as I said, which won't happen, but Lukaku ain't world class. Would you use Kuz? Do we still get Champions League if Atalanta would finish 4th? No. There were so many free agents that Roma should be looking at. Varane, Rafa, Royce, and definitely so many more. But again, this is where we get triggered. Who wants... I don't want Varane. I don't want Royce. Incredible players. But one's 38 years old and one is, 37 years old. I need something new. If buying these free transfers means... kind of updating this instant success. We're not good at this. We're not good at this. Forget these, they're really good players, but forget these deadwood players who get injured every game. We need something new. We need creativeness. Creativity, not creativeness. That's what we need. We don't need these deadwood. Thoughts on Thiago Motta to Juventus? Could not care less, mate. Absolutely not. That's not. I'm not disrespecting you. I just don't care. Really don't. It's a great manager, so all respect him if he goes. What do you think about Banza from Braga? He scored 21 goals. I don't know him much. I need to study him more. Right, I am gonna catch you tomorrow. More transfer news coming your way. Updates. Ghisolfi apparently being announced this week, so we'll see what happens. If you haven't already, please do hit the like in this live stream. If we can get 100 likes on this video, it would be absolutely amazing. Hit the like. If you're watching live or not, do it. And a Twix spore will fall from the ceiling right now. Subscribe to the channel. Get your friends and family to subscribe. Have a good evening. And Coppa Italia final tomorrow. My city is invaded by shit. Juventus fans and Atalanta fans everywhere. So... yeah. Put your masks on or you're going to get contaminated. Is Chiesa still a legit option? If we get UCL, yes. If we don't get UCL, in our dreams, bro. Right, talk to you soon. See you out.